Welcome back. In this section, we will learn about how to quickly add a backend for our to-do application. So if we start the application by typing the command npm run start, once our app starts, we can see that currently we have hard-coded the data for our to-do items. If we add the new to-do item, for example, just call it new item. If I add this new to-do item, this item is added, but we are not persisting these items. So if I reload the page, the new to do item is removed and we are only getting the data that we have hard coded. So we need the backend where we can store the our to do items, and our backend will fetch the data from that saved area and will display the items on the screen. So for that, we will use JSON server. To use the JSON server, I'll open up the directory. In fact, I can use the terminal here. So let's just create a new terminal by clicking this plus icon. Here we have the new terminal. We would install the package JSON server, and I want to install it globally. So I'll use -g flag with this. We will use this JSON server to quickly create a server for our to-do app, and we can just create the server from a JSON file. It will fetch the data from that JSON file and will return when a GET request is sent, and similarly when you send a POST request, the JSON server will add the data to the JSON file. So let's just create a JSON file inside the source directory, and so I'll create a new file and call it to do items.json. Inside this JSON file, let's create a JSON. I'll call it to dos, and this will be an array which will contain to do items. So our items will have the property ID. Let's give it the ID of 1. Similarly, our items will have description, first item, and we need to set the status also. So our status can be either pending or completed. So let's set the status pending for this item. Okay, so we have added our first to-do item. Now let's add multiple to-do items. I'll just copy and paste the same code. So we have 4 to-do items. So I'll change the IDs 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the 4 to-do items that we have with the IDs from 1 to 4. Let's call it item 4. Sorry, call it item 4, item 3, item 2, and item 1. We need to remove this last comma. So let's have 2 pending items and 2 completed items. So I'll change it to completed. I'll copy this code completed word and we'll paste it here. Okay, so our JSON file is ready. Now we want to use this JSON file to run the JSON server. So now if I close this and open the terminal, now if I type dir, we can see the files that are in this directory. So our JSON file is inside the source directory. Here we have to do items.json. So we need to navigate into the source directory. So I'll type cd src, and now if I type dir command, it will list the contents of this directory. And here we have to do items.json. Let's just check that do we have a file inside this? Yes. So we should be able to see the file here. Yeah, here it is, to do items.json. So next up, I want to start the JSON server. For that, I'll type the command json-server. This is the package that we have installed globally, dash dash watch, and here, and next we will provide the name of the file that we want the JSON server to watch. So in this case, it is to do items.json. Now if I click enter, this JSON server will start and will start watching this to do items.json. So whenever we send a get request, it will fetch the data from this JSON file, and whenever we send a post request, it will add the data to this JSON file. So it has given us the URLs that this is the URL where our application is running. So if I open up this URL in my browser, you can see that we are getting the data back from the JSON file that we have added. And similarly, if we send the post request, we will be able to add the new data. And whenever we send the get call, we'll get the latest data. So we have used JSON server to quickly create a backend API. It saves a lot of time and can be used for the sample applications like one we have, but we won't use it for our complete project. In real scenarios, you should have a backend API that you will interact with. So in next video, we will learn about interact with our backend API. Thank you for watching.